Hey, good morning. It's Tuesday. It's still dark. Daylight savings is over. And actually, no, daylight savings has now begun. And this hour thing, not the only one who's, thrown off by this. But man, I'll tell you, it's going to take a couple days to get used to. And didn't help that yesterday was a long day, but the ending part was pretty cool. But hopefully you're able to, make up for that hour of sleep somehow, because it's, Anyway. Yeah, so just on the commute to work, obviously I'm in my car again. No word on Eleanor, as usual. Still waiting for that. But it's just another day in the hood for me. Since everything went down last week, and, I didn't really go into this very much, but as I'd mentioned somewhere on Facebook that the school that received the threat from the student about shooting it up and stuff like that was one of my school sites, and it was a very awkward thing, and I'll just put in my 2 cents on this, but to be honest with you guys, I didn't actually find out that the kid had even done it until I was actually at my other office in the afternoon, like after 5 p.m. So I actually did not find out that there was even any incident at work until I left work. And I actually got to the school about 2 hours after the incident actually occurred. So, obviously it wasn't anything of an immediate threat because the student didn't have a weapon. And, it was verbal. So Fullerton Police, who based on the town hall meeting that they held the day after the incident. So that was on Tuesday last week when I was there the whole day, and I was there with two of my fellow techs. It really just explained the situation. Of course, you're going to have your slew of parents who are very concerned about the whole thing, and what happens if this happens to my kid? What happens if this happens to my kid? Why is the school built the way it is? Why is the sky blue? And, not to lighten the situation or anything like that, but, you have to come to the realization that there are many things in the world that cannot be controlled, and it's a huge system. Stopgap, this is one of those things stopgap fixing just doesn't take care of. And I'm not going to go too far into it because then it might turn into a political debate, and that's not what I'm here on Facebook for. But I will say this. Since that incident occurred, and it is an isolated incident, there have been no copycats. No one's actually threatened anything else. We haven't had any other issues. It's just the way it is. It's just what it is, and what it is a student decided to say something, and a bunch of other students decided to say something about that, and raise their concerns to a trusted adult. They did the right thing, and they were. They protected themselves and they protected their school, and that's really what you hope for. I would like to say, I think that we need to focus more on the good students that really, we need to be reminded that we have a lot of good kids, and we have a lot of good kids who are very self-aware and know the difference between right and wrong and things like that, and that they are brave enough to step up when the time is right, and we were very lucky that we had students like that. So that is my little take on last week. I'm okay after the incident. Obviously, the only reason why it affected me well, first off, it was my school site, so it was way too close for comfort, and and that whole concern that, if the students involved did not, pardon that horn, there was a truck that is basically not staying in its lane, and that's a really, really bad thing. I'm going to wait until that fixes itself. But I said, one of the biggest things that does concern me is that, like I said, it's because it happens so close. It could happen to any school. I really am concerned about my fellow teachers, my fellow colleagues in the educational field. We have a lot to deal with already, and the last thing we need is something else like this, and it's a challenge, but best thing we can do, look out for each other and remind students that they are good people. They're inherently good people, that they're worth it, and that we will, if they see something, that they should say something. And that's really been a good cultural mantra that we instill in the kids, at least at my junior high, is that if something goes wrong, go to a trusted adult. And of course, we as the adults have to build that trust and be available for the kids, and just be the people that we are, be the people that we are. And why are we in education, that kind of thing. So that's that has blown over. We're gonna be okay. It's just hug your kids. Even if they're not your kids, tell them that they're important. Tell them that they are worth it. They're valuable. There's so many things that I can take away from this, because I didn't have the most enjoyable childhood, and there's a lot of fear and anger when it comes to students who feel like they need to inflict harm on somebody else, and there's a lot of pain. Of course, these are very much generalizations, because there's a lot of other factors that are involved, but really though, regardless of what is going on in the world, please remind a student, if you can at least tell one kid today that they are important, they are loved, it makes all the difference in the world for that kid. So, be kind and do that. Anyway, so of course, first full day after daylight savings time, it was a Monday, and it was a long day. I had to split between two schools and just try to get through all that and finish some homework. It was kind of funny, as Saturday, I got this email from Micro Center in Tustin saying, hey, if you want a Raspberry Pi Zero wireless, they're on sale for $3.14, because next Thursday, which is tomorrow, or actually next Wednesday, because I think it's the 13th, Well, anyway, March 14th, whenever that is, because I really have no awareness of what day of the week it is at any point, is, Albert Einstein's birthday for one part. Another part is my brother's birthday, so happy birthday in advance. And it's Pi Day, as in the mathematical equation of pi, or the mathematical number of pi, 3.14. It's 314. Eat some pie, eat some literal pie, or, play with a pie, as in a Raspberry Pi. If you've never heard of a Raspberry Pi, I'd be more than happy to explain it to you. I mean, for the most part, the extent of my playing with Raspberry Pis usually comes in the form of demonstrations for students, and, hey, see this tiny computer, it can do things. I mean, as much as I love my technology, I'm not electronically inclined as much as people think, and so I'm still learning things like all of the accessories that you can plug into them, and all the weird things that you can do, because you can't actually plug Raspberry Pis into drones. It's among other things, you can do emulations, like video game emulations. They can be used as we can create tablets with them. There's a lot of things that you can do with a Raspberry Pi. It's a very low cost toy for one start, but it's not a toy. It's a full blown, fully functional miniature computer, about the size. The full size is about the size of a deck of cards, and the Raspberry Pi Zero is about the size of a giant pack of gum, as in the width and length, not the thickness. The thickness is about as much as a regular circuit board. It's a very small thing. Anyway, the Raspberry Pi Zero is just something that is not very. When it comes around and it's available, it's hard to get. So I jumped on that quickly, and I know that Tustin is more than 40 miles away from where I live, so I decided to go there after work and pick up the Pi. And turns out that while I was there, I ended up bumping into a friend. And it was really funny, because it was one of my online friends that I hung out with a couple years ago. And it was just, he was there for the same reason. So we just ended up just kibitzing about Raspberry Pis, and then after that going into downtown Santa Ana to the 4th Street Marketplace. If you're ever in downtown Santa Ana, and this is one thing that I find really cool about Orange County is that they have these food like collectives. That's the best way I can describe it. And the one in Santa Ana is kind of a cross between an experimental kitchen and a small co-op of multiple food establishments that don't have the kind of capital to have their own solid building. So they're all in this collective. And so there was this place that came to mind when he had mentioned that he was hungry, he wanted dinner, and I mean I was hungry too. And it was called Wingman Kitchen. Now, Wingman Kitchen has a huge Instagram following because of just the stunning appearance of the chicken wings that they make. And they have several flavors. They also have sandwiches and chicken bowls and all sorts of things. And I just wanted to answer the question, since I was already at the Tustin/Santa Ana border, it's kind of like, I need to find out how good this food actually tastes because it looks amazing. So if you ever have a chance to Instagram Wingman Kitchen and, just kind of go in there. But I will say this, when it comes to flavor, a couple things come to mind. First off, if you've been to Koreatown and you've had the wings in Koreatown, like those legit, Korean places that sell the wings, they are pretty much up there. It's the same caliber of wing. It's just really, really tasty. And it's just as a gourmet kind of like high-class chicken wing place, that place is up there. That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's a definite go. It's the only location that I know of in Santa Ana. It's in this little hole in the wall. It's a little hole-in-the-wall kitchen, and then it's inside of this collective. So there's a lot of cool places to sit, and it's right across from like an ice cream place that I didn't get to eat at because I will say, I ordered 10 wings, and those things were huge. I mean, I swear I could have just worn a couple of them and flown all the way to Catalina at this point. It was really, really, really big wings, very tasty. So yes, if you're into the chicken wings, go for that. The two flavors I had were their classic is called a Cluckin' Good, which is basically soy garlic. It's a very common flavor in the Koreatown wing places, so that was very sweet, very sweet sauce, and the wings are breaded, so it really adds an extra edge to it. That's where all of the sauce sticks to. And then the other flavor I had was called a sriracha. It was a honey sriracha. Okay, I would probably rate this at about a medium heat rating. If you're going to, if you can say it by heat, it's something that I can actually tolerate, and I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to spicy. It gives a nice medium, just enough kick because of the sriracha, and then the honey just brings it all like together. So I would say, definitely, if you are in Santa Ana, you got to do Wingman Kitchen at the 4th Street, marketplace over there, right in downtown. There's parking behind. I took the car yesterday. It rained a little bit, not by too much. I also got to try this one place that had this amazing iced tea, like unsweetened iced tea. It was like passion fruit and all sorts of things. And I had to sit there because they have free Wi-Fi internet, so I ended up having to sit there and finish some homework assignments. Since I was all the way stuck up in Santa Ana, and there was no point in me having to wait until I drove home to finish the homework. So I just ended up sitting on a couch after wings, and my friend had to go home because it started to rain, and it was like just good, So I really enjoyed that time, and it was very impromptu, and it was nice to see someone familiar again, and it was just great. So there are several places like this in Orange County. I would strongly suggest looking into that. Santa Ana is one of them. The most popular one so far that I know of is the Anaheim Packing House, which is right behind what used to be Disney Ice. So it's now, what do they call it? Anaheim Ice. So about less than a mile away from that, from Anaheim Ice, is this place called the Anaheim Packing House. If you've never been there, it is crowded as hell on the weekends. They have all sorts of food like that, where they're like one-off restaurants or small restaurants that are just up and coming. Very tasty, it's amazing. And that's a 2-story kind of building. There's also one in Huntington Beach. I forget what that one's called, but it is on PCH facing the ocean. It's in downtown. The pier area of Huntington Beach. I forget what that one's called. I did go there for a really good chicken biscuit. It's been more than a year since I did this, so I have to check that. And the only thing, though, I think parking there is a little bit more expensive than I'd like to pay. Santa Ana was like $2 because I couldn't get anything on the metered parking, but it was like indefinite parking for $2, so I really wasn't going to argue with that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of food collectives in Orange County. I am liking this. I need the hashtag reasons why I'm fat. It's kind of bad though, because I definitely need to try to balance a little bit more of my exercise life. It's hard. Grad school problems. I'm not trying to make excuses. No, seriously. Have you seen how my day goes? This is ridiculous. I'm in the car today after I'm all done here. I'm driving all the way to Brentwood. I was asked to film an impromptu game at Brentwood. So I decided, you know what? My camera bag is already drenched. Oh yeah, I'm going to digress into this. So if anybody was looking at my Instagram feedback on Saturday, I had 2 back-to-back lacrosse games at Loyola High School over in LA. And as fun as it is, there's a running joke with Loyola that every time I have to film there, there's usually some issue with the weather, and I end up getting drenched or cold or frozen to some degree when I'm up there. And this day was no different. So it rained the entire time I was at Loyola. This was a 4-hour stint. I had to film 2 of the games, both junior varsity and varsity, on behalf of Palos Verdes High School. And it was raining. I had to film at the top of a 40-foot scaffold. I had my umbrella, I had my hat, I had my hoodie and my overcoat over that, and just making sure that my camera was safe inside of a plastic covering and all this stuff. Needless to say, my feet weren't safe, and neither was my camera bag. My boots were drenched by the end of the 4-hour ordeal, and my camera bag was just soaked to the core. So as soon as I got home, I had to remove everything from my camera bag, and it was just disgusting. I had my bag completely on the floor, and since my floor is tile, all the water started pooling up around my bag, so then that didn't work. I had to hang the bag upside down. It dried it throughout probably about a day and a half. It took it to dry again. And so I'm currently taking my bag as it is in shambles with everything in a plastic bag and my camera, and I have to reorganize and repack it when I get to work so that it'll be ready for my filming tonight. I'm going, are you kidding me? So it was very, very wet, very miserable. As I got home probably about 9:30 at night, and after the games, I started processing the games, had to dry off, and then I decided, you know what, I'm ordering Indian food and watching an Indian movie. So as soon as I got the videos in a place where they started processing and everything like that, I decided, you know what, I'm ordering Indian food from India's Tandoori in Manhattan Beach, having that delivered. And I'm going to go watch Bahubali, the beginning. So I have to give a shout out to my friend Mark, who has been raving about this movie, and I've known about this movie long before he started raving about it. But I think the very enthusiastic reviews really motivated me to just say, you know what, I'm going to jump on the Netflix and I'm going to go watch Bahubali in its Bollywood glory. That was a very hilarious 2.5 hours and very impressive 2.5 hours for a Bollywood film. I don't watch a lot of Bollywood films. I only see clips when I'm, sitting at the Indian restaurant and they have them on. But man, I'll tell you, that movie was a trip. It was hilarious. And the reason why I had to watch the first one is the second one, which came out in April of 2017, is even better than the first apparently. But I needed the background story behind why the characters are who they are. So I had to watch the first one. So yes, later this week I am hoping to watch the second one and just sit down and do it, and then we'll go from there. So that's what I did. After that is, after I was soaked to the bone, it was, videography, sports videography during lacrosse season. I mean, I have not had to deal with much rain. I've been very fortunate. Either I'm shooting indoors or it's sunny. But I'll tell you, I have just had the worst kind of luck when it comes to shooting lacrosse, because it can be played as long as, it's not too ridiculous of conditions and there's no lightning involved. It can be played in any condition, especially because most of the schools that I'm filming at have artificial turf, so the kids aren't drenched in mud. There's nothing ridiculous like that. They're playing on artificial turf. So they'll play in the rain. And here we are sitting with our umbrellas taking it because, either we're dedicated parents that actually want to watch their kids, play, have fun, and succeed. I wasn't so lucky. Or they're just being paid to film, which is basically me. So, yeah, there's that. So that was Saturday and a lot of that. Also, just as a reminder, all through the month of March, if you are a education professional, there's still a lot of time to enjoy teacher appreciation at the Long Beach Aquarium of the Pacific. There's a link to get the tickets. You have to buy them online first, so that you can print them out and then take them with you when you go in. But it's the special education discount rate of $7. Yeah, not $7. So yeah, it took went and took Gabby, and we totally just went and took random pictures and caught Pokemon and all sorts of randomness. A lot of fun. Definitely would do again. I just won't pay $20+ to get into the aquarium the first time around. But severely discounted tickets for the month of March, I'm totally good with that. It had been probably for me at least 2 years, close to 2 years since I had the chance to go to. Actually, probably like 2.5 years since I'd gone to the aquarium. So it's been a while. Really nice. They're in the middle of renovation, so they're going and expansion. So they're opening up another wing of the aquarium probably the next year or so. That's going to be amazing when that's all done. So, yeah, definitely recommend Aquarium of the Pacific. Very cool. Lots of fish, lots of urders, and seals, and all sorts of cute things, and puffins, and yes, I fed the lorikeets. It was amazing. Definitely go. Speaking of educational professionals, I know that we are going into April, May, and districts are going, are starting their recruitments and or hiring windows for next year. So if you're one of my old colleagues and you need a letter of recommendation, I'm going to extend the invite, because I extended the invite myself to another old colleague of mine to help her out. But if you are looking for those letters of recommendation and you're getting a little bit of resistance from anyone who you work with that won't do it for you, I would be more than happy, as a former colleague of yours, to write you a letter of recommendation. And I am really good with my words, so let me know, because I will hook you up. I am very grateful to be at my current school district, which I am approaching the exit to get to my site. But I'm very grateful to be where I am right now, and I know that there's a lot of benefits coming from just change of pace and change of venues. So if you're one of those people that really desires that change of venue and need the assistance to help you get there, hit me up. I will totally write you a letter where I can help you out. So yes, today I'm returning to Park Junior High. So just another day in the hood. I was kind of funny yesterday because Mondays are my split days, so I spend my first part of the morning at my elementary school across town, and then I come back to the junior high. And as soon as I walked in, they were. I ended up having to watch 2 back-to-back playings of a female sex ed video, because the 7th graders were getting their puberty education in the media center. So here I am sitting there watching really dated 90s, horribly synthesized, bad lyric song. Oh my gosh, it's just watching this. Which, the information's there. I think probably, but like this film was probably close to 25 years old, and but it was the girls' sex ed video, and that's what headphones are for. That was kind of entertaining. So that is the worst thing that I deal with at parks. Really, it's not as bad as it really is. I'm not going to let one student spoil my fun, because that person won't. There's going to be enough people going, "Oh, hails no, you're not going to do that." So, anyway, I digress. It's a lot going on. This particular weekend was very involved, and we are where we are, and it's kind of funny. So yeah, I'm just leaving the Buena Park border, about to enter into, heading toward La Mirada, then into Fullerton, because when I exit, it's Beach Boulevard, so I got to do that really long weirdo stretch past the 91 and all this stuff. So, it's a little bit of a drive inland before I get to my site. But anyway, I'll be good out there. Don't do anything too crazy. Oh, speaking of which, if you are interested in watching hockey this weekend, or this Friday, 9:15 game, yeah, we play. I don't think we're in playoffs yet. I think this is one of the makeup games that they keep talking about, because we had a little bit of a schedule change because of some tournaments and some ring time conflicts and stuff like that. So anyway, if anybody wants to watch a hockey game, I'm there 9:15 p.m. with my peeps, all of my peeps. At least I'm hoping it's all of my peeps. Sometimes it's like maybe 8 of my peeps. Sometimes it's about a line of peeps. I don't know what the hate is on peeps, but I think they taste pretty good. They're okay. They're cute. You can use them as props. If you put them in the microwave, they explode. Yeah. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Be good, be kind, rewind. And if you are under the age of 15, you probably don't even know what it means to rewind. So, I will talk to you all later. Cheers.